Hello, everyone. I am recording this at the very end of March, which means here in Chicago we are due to enter the magical time known as Third Spring, to be swiftly followed in the middle of April by First Summer, and I will be sweating my ass off. I will be wanting to drink ice-cold daiquiris, and I will not want to think about peaty whiskey in any way, shape, or form. So I have to get this review out basically now, because otherwise I'm just not going to do it. So, and I really want to talk about these. I have a little bit of an obsession with peated malt whiskey, not from Islay. And it's not because I don't like Islay. I love Islay, but Islay gets maybe a little bit too boring, a little bit too maritime a lot of the time, a little bit too damn expensive, frankly. So it's fun to explore outside, and I think one of the fun places to explore is the Speyside. And you might say, well, why get excited about, Speyside peated malt? I mean, circa the end of the Obama administration, literally every distillery in Scotland decided they wanted to make peated whiskey, and most of it honestly sucked. It just wasn't very good. But here's the thing: we are long since past those early days. People seem to have learned a thing or two, and a lot of those old stocks have now gotten a touch more mature and more interesting. So I think Speyside peated whiskey is worth a second look. So what I've got here is, I got the Ballantruan 15, which I've been wanting to try for a long time. I adored the Ballantruan 10-year-old. To my surprise and shock, I was not expecting much from it. It kind of bowled me over last year. So here's the 15-year-old. And as a lead up to it, I have got there's a pronunciation guide on this. This is the Meikle Tòir, which is from Glenallachie. This is a Billy Walker joint. This is the sherry one. They actually just say the sherry one. 5-year-old peated Glenallachie. And we got an AnCnoc, which is what we're going to start with. And I already poured it. I don't know why I'm taking the cork off again. Let's start with this. So this is AnCnoc. Sherry cask finish, Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Peated edition. They do not say how much peat is in this, but it's peated. And it's really hard to tell, but there is a bottling date on this, which is basically June 11th, 2023. So this is pretty recent. It was like, what was this? Close to 50 euros, so not super duper cheap, but it is, and it's not super duper well presented either. No age statement, 43%. There's a German warning that this has got Farbenstoff in it, so it's got a little bit of colorant. But I've always been a little bit of a fan of AnCnoc, and I don't think I've done a peated AnCnoc on here. So let's taste this out. AnCnoc, of course, is the single malt whiskey name of Knockdhu, in the town of Knock, near Aberdeen, not too far off from Aberdeen. And let's see what we got here. Ooh. Honestly, I tried a few of the early peated Knockdhus, AnCnocs, and I didn't like them that much. This one is kind of, this one's kind of showing me a thing or two. We have got, so there's not a lot of peat on this. It's very subtle. This is like, we're not even at like Benromach levels of peat. It's just a little whiff just thrown in there. What are we getting? We are getting baked apple and apple cheese. Go look it up. It's a Lithuanian thing. Campfire smoke, and a lot of tobacco. Lots of tobacco. Mostly Virginias and Orientals. If you haven't put your time in on pipe tobaccos, do it. It's an important thing for having... Have those in your brain for spirits tasting. Just go to your local tobacconist and stick your head into the kind of mixed tobacco bins if you get a chance. The peat is just providing a little bit of color to it. There's also I'm a little bit scared to say this. There's a little bit of a Springbanky thing. It's the unroasted nuts thing, the green nuts thing that Springbank can kind of throw at you. It's here. Also some florals, but it's really talking more about like wet grass along with like wet flowers. Some peach skins, some like tea notes, maybe some Russian caravan tea, black pepper. With the exception of the apple cheese thing, I'm not getting a whole lot of sherry cask on this, honestly. Maybe a little bit of like a rum raisin thing. Even a little bit of like a wet dog thing. This is, or really more like a wet tweed, like you're a professor and you wore your tweed jacket out in the rain and it got all soaked. It's got that kind of wet wool smell. A little sea salt, a little topsoil. Really not bad. I mean, you can kind of tell there's a youthfulness to this. I mean, AnCnoc is it's a worm tubber, right? So it's going to show youth a little bit more. It's going to show it's kind of big, loud, spirity quality a little bit more than other Speysiders. And that's happening here a little bit, but not bad at all on the palate. Yeah, showing me a thing or two indeed. This is a lot better than it has any right to be. I mean, no age statement, finish of questionable length, lame presentation. I bought this on a whim. This is okay, though. It's dense. It's got again, you can kind of tell, like, this would be better with more age and a little bit of a better presentation. But yeah, we've got apple cheese. We got like a campfire thing. That kind of green nuts, unroasted nuts thing. Wet grass, wet tweed. Those tea notes. Russian caravan. Surprisingly subtle with the sherry cask, though. There's some fig. The tobacco is in play. It's more like Virginia had a little bit of Perique in there. Perique is my all-time favorite tobacco, so I'm happy about that. Black pepper. I get a little bit of peat. This is not a peat bomb by any means. It's one part of the ensemble. Like maybe just a half a step down from like Springbanky / Benromach levels, but I mean it's within that style, right? I mean this is I don't think it's as polished as what's coming out of those two distilleries, not by a long shot, but in terms of style, we're not that far away. there's some worm tubby weirdness. There's some mustard seeds. Oh, this is fun. You can tell like this could be better. The finish is a little bit clipped. But there's something here. I mean, I'm going to add some water to this. We'll come back to it in a second. But I'm going to say right now, like, AnCnoc is a distillery. I don't go out and buy or recommend AnCnoc a whole lot because I figure it's one of those advanced tastes. Like, by the time you start getting interested in the kind of weird, tobacco, tea leaves, bitter orange side of Speyside, like, you're not interested so much in like safer official bottlings that much. Like, someone like that at that point is going to skip straight to like independent bottlings of Kirkmichael and Mortlock and that kind of stuff. So I don't throw AnCnoc out there as a recommendation very often, despite my liking Knockdhu Distillery a lot. So keep that context, my opinion, in mind when I say they should run with this. I mean, this style, if they really focused on this, made this just better, older, better presented, this could totally be a thing. Yeah. So I'll throw that out there. We'll see what happens when we come back to it. Wait, this is the wrong order. All right, there we go. Moving on to Peated Glenallachie. This is they give you a pronunciation guide. I'm not sure if you can see it down there, but it's Meikle Tòir. And this is the sherry one, 5-year-old, no color added, non-chill filtered, peated Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey from Glenallachie they're in Aberlour, right? I think it says. Yep, Aberlour. And bottled at 48% alcohol, which is a heck of a lot better than 43. I mean, I don't think the AnCnoc, I feel like, is probably 6-7 years old. I can't see it being that old. So this should be a fair comparison, honestly. It says somewhere on here, PX and Oloroso casks. Bottled circa 2003. I'm sorry, 2023. It's much more intense on the nose, much more aggressive. A lot of lapsang souchong on this. Lapsang is another one of those notes you really need to have if you're to get in your brain note library. Go buy yourself some lapsang. It's great. Yeah, just really like intense, burning, pine needle-y stuff. It's very like evergreen, resinous, like lapsang. I mean, honestly. Beyond that, yeah, you are getting the sherry. More on this than on the AnCnoc. Figs, prunes, raisins, big fat raisins. That's the PX. Black pepper. But also like a. There's a nutty thing on this too, but it's more like a toasted. It's like toasted peanut shells or something. Like mixed dried grass with a little bit of like dried flowers. Yeah, definitely like a burning pine needle kind of note. Like, I mean, really like evergreen forest in general is kind of the note here. Like a campfire in the middle of an evergreen forest is kind of the play, with some seashells as well. I mean, it's tricky because I had to fight the AnCnoc a little bit to get notes out of it. This one is much more intense. It's much more kind of leaping on the glass, but it isn't actually. It may not be as intense as the AnCnoc is. Okay, on the palate. I mean, yeah, it's lapsang and it's like sherry and some stinky, earthy peat. That's most of what this is. On the palate. Sorry, I made that face not because I don't like this. I do like this. The mouth length is a little bit short, but I mean, it's 5 years old. That's not a shock. What is the energy here? The energy is you are drinking, you are like shooting back lapsang souchong while also munching on a huge pile of dried fruit, figs, prunes, big fat sweet raisins. You're doing all that right next to a peat fire. Like that's the energy on this. Again, there is like a feeling of evergreenness to this. It reminds me a little bit of the Macmyra I had a while back, but maybe not totally. No, it's kind of its own thing. It's more earthy. It's more burned and lapsang-y than that was. But yeah, evergreen forest, campfire, twiggy peat. We're definitely more in the realm of not quite like Ardmore peat, like mainland stinky barnyard peat. This is more like almost Talisker peat. It's that kind of twiggy peat, or Highland Park maybe. Figs, raisins, lots of peppercorns, dried flowers, that kind of burnt nut thing, maybe some like burned almond. There's also like a little bit of a numbing thing, maybe like a little bit of clove, but not like the flavor of clove, like actual clove where you put it on your tongue and it gets a little numb. I don't know. This is kind of I was expecting, just based on the strength and the fact that this actually has an age statement, I was expecting this to kind of be running circles around the AnCnoc, and it kind of isn't. Like, it's in terms of mouth presence, it's got more mouthfeel. It's got a longer, more satisfying finish, but the length, everything's happening up front. You can tell that this is a young whiskey. I feel like this is ahead, but it's not by much. It really isn't. Like, the AnCnoc is just hanging in there. And this is like Billy Walker's own distillate with like the crazy fermentation times and like all those sort of changes he put in a couple of years ago. So, yeah, I taste this and I like it, but I come away like more impressed by this innocuous AnCnoc that I was expecting not to like all that much. We're going to give this a squirt and change. We'll come back to it. 1, 2, 3. That's probably good enough. And the one I'm expecting to wipe the floor with these other two. Ballantruan, 15-year-old from Tomintoul Distillery. And if you're looking at this and saying, Scott, why are you expecting this to somehow be, good? Because last year I tried the 10-year-old version of this. There's a much younger version, a non-age stated version, which it's okay, it's serviceable, but the 10-year-old kind of rocked my world a little bit last time. It was kind of medicinal and Lafroigy at the same time as being like floral and fruity and kind of weird, and it was just a different kind of peat monster, and I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite bottles of last year, and certainly one of the biggest surprises. So I really wanted to try the 15-year-old version. What is this? So this is old Ballantruan 15-year-old Speyside-Glenlivet. That's old school. Putting Speyside-Glenlivet. Single malt Scotch whiskey. 50% alcohol by volume. That's pretty good. Unchill-filtered. It's not super duper expensive. They don't specify cask type. I'm guessing mostly ex-bourbon. Maybe a few dechar recharge thrown in there. Who knows? There is some really teeny tiny print on the bottom that's almost unreadable, suggesting this was bottled circa 2021. And it is unchill-filtered. I mentioned that already. All right. Let's see what this older version of my beloved Ballantruan 10 has got. I sniff and I smell and I come away honestly a little puzzled. I mean, it's dense. It's not... there's lots of little things going on, and they're kind of all wrapping into each other. Let me try to disentangle this. So it does have that kind of medicinal, hospital on fire thing you get from Laphroaig. A little bit of that. It's also like maritime. It's almost like Laphroaig Isla peat, but you're going to add on top of that like baked green apples, lots of fresh flowers, some twigs, just not Isla stuff. I mean, Bowmore can sometimes throw flowers at you, but not really like this. And then there's like a certain like Ardmore-y barnyard reek kind of thing. Like there's some cows and pigs and emus wandering around. Like it's a little poopy, but in a good way. Vanilla fudge, like something mineral, like some old pebbles. But I'm really having to kind of fight to disentangle everything that's going on here. It's really dense. Some black pepper, ash. Something slightly green too, almost like a... It's maybe basil or something in that family. But it's kind of like working its way into the ashy notes, so maybe like burned basil, toasted basil. But it's grainy too. It's maybe there's some oatmeal going on, like oatmeal with honey. You know what this puts me in mind of? Although being completely stylistically different, it reminds me of the first time I was trying to nose some of those like early, kind of mid to late 90s Lacheg batches, Peated Moray, where you would just like stick your head into those things and go, what the heck am I smelling? Like you could tell it was good, but it was just like it was a little bit baffling because there was just lots of things interacting that you weren't used to having interact. Someone out there knows what I'm talking about. Similar energy here. Like it's very Laphroaig-y, but it's also very like barnyardy, like almost Peated Benromach-y in some aspects. It's grainy, it's floral. It's a little bit all over the place. Not to say that the 10-year-old wasn't kind of exploring some of these same territories, but it felt like it was easier to follow. This is like the master's level class, if you know what I mean. On the palate, formally, this is good. The mouth presence is terrific, but this is not easy. This is not easy going at all. This is it's in fact much tougher than the 10-year-old was. Yeah. Where do I start with this? Jesus. Yeah, okay, so there's like a similar vibes to the nose, really. I mean, there's this kind of big Lefroy, hospital dumpster fire kind of energy, but maritime too. Like it's got that like little sea breeze kind of thing. But then there's like this aggressive flowers and wintergreen kind of thing. It gets very floral and green. But it's also grainy. There's like a honeyed oatmeal aspect. Baked apples, baked apple pie, maybe. Vanilla fudge. Barnyard stuff again. White pepper. Cinnamon sticks. Some spearmint. Minerality, tough to nail down. Rocks. Let's just say rocks. Yeah, this is really reminding me of the days of, you would go to pick up some super duper young 1999 Lecheg or something. And you would pop it open, you'd pour it, and you'd just kind of go, what have I gotten myself into here? There's a little bell pepper, like a little green pepper on this. Espadin fans, come on into the room. Some old coffee grinds, maybe. I mean, this is, in terms of absolute quality, this is good. This is pretty dang good, but it's tough. Like this is for the experts. This is for people who have put their time in on literally everything else. If you want to try Ballantruan and like enjoy it right away, buy the 10-year-old. Like just go buy the 10-year-old. This is, I don't know. I'm torn on this. I kind of respect this for being weird. I'm not sure it's actually beating these other two. At least not convinced. I was expecting to have a nice linear progression in scores. I don't know if that's going to happen. Okay, so we'll give this some water and we will come back. So what, 2 squirts for 50%? That sounds about right. And yeah, some fun surprises in this video. But it's a weird category, peated Speysiders. So you should expect surprises, right? All right, back to the AnCnoc, and now with a bit of water in it. Wow, okay. Yeah, the more time I spend with this, honestly, the more I kind of dig it. This is terrific. It like peated almonds, some sherry creeping in, a little bit of like prune and beef bouillon. It feels like it's sweetened up a little bit. I mean, you're still getting those kind of intense tobacco-y notes. On the palate. Ooh. This is legit. This is absolutely legit. Like apple cheese, almond, like both green almond and roasted almond. Like this is. You've got the kind of bitter orange pith kind of thing that I expect from AnCnoc, kind of creeping in here. Tea leaves, tobacco, fig butter, like a floral, what is that? Almost like a soggy flowers kind of smell. Really nice. I mean, this opens up kind of pretty darn well with water. I'm not going to say, like Benromach, if you're watching this, take this bottling and just make it a whole thing. Like, it's not there yet. Like, I don't think Benromach and Springbank need to be worried yet. We're not there. But they should maybe keep an eye on this, because if this was a little bit older, if this was a little bit better presented, this would be a competitor. Like, this would be world-class stuff. This would be, like, just stuff nerds would be creaming themselves over. Mm-hmm. I think AnCnoc should go in all in on this style. And that's, I'm not saying that because I don't like standard unpeated AnCnoc. I do. But you can make a hell of a lot of money off of this just by making it a little bit better. Give it its own, like, label, its own name, right? I mean, it's not like you could make the whole Knockdhu naming situation more confusing by adding another one, or just, hey, if you needed a peated name, try Knockdhu. There's an idea. Whatever. This is good. This is a lot better than I was anticipating. And water just kind of opens it up. It still needs more time. I would love to try this at a proper 10-year-old age statement. I would love to try this at 46%. Even so, this is a big step up from where it was even before I added water, and that's a good sign. 85 plus points. Again, Springbank need not worry yet, but maybe they should keep an eye on these guys. Make sure they don't start making some more moves. 85 plus. Moving on to Peated Glenallachie. Meikle Tòir. The sherry one. They have a couple of other versions of this, but I figured since it's Billy Walker, his natural instinct is just to throw Oloroso and PX on everything anyway, so you may as well go straight to the one that does that, right? On the nose, now that I've added water, the sherry comes out a little bit. There's some chocolate orange happening. Little burp, sorry. It's still piney, but it's more like pine sap now. Pine resin. Even a little bit of like a pineapple thing going on here. I wonder if that's the fermentation. Who knows? On the palate. Presents a little bit sweeter. Otherwise, mostly the same. I mean, it's peaty lapsang with pine needles and dried fruits. And that's kind of what you're getting here. And a somewhat short mouth length. Like, the finish holds on pretty well. The mouth presence is nice. The mouth feel is nice. But it's not tickling my tonsils. But it's good. I like it. I do. I like this. And it's definitely... I mean, if you want to buy this for your Glenallachie Billy Walker loving friends in the local Scotch group and throw it in at the end of a big old Glenallachie tasting, I think this is going to work out really well. I think they'll dig this. But for me, to my shock, I think I might put it a notch below the AnCnoc. Yeah, with water, the AnCnoc is just a little bit better. It's got a little bit more balance to it in particular. I like the Meikle Tòir. The lapsang maybe taking it a little bit too much. I want a little bit more balance, a little bit more mouth length, and maturity is going to help with both of those things. 5 years old. Pretty darn good. I'm going to call this an 85. 85 points for the sherry one from Meikle Tòir, Glenallachie. And now, the thinker of the flight, old Ballantruan, 15-year-old. Now with water. See if this has gotten any more accessible than it was. It has. It feels like it's opened up. It feels like it's come together a little bit. Imagine making like Lefroy chocolate fudge, but then like putting some fresh flowers on top. Then you're going to eat that with some like really honeyed rich oatmeal. That's kind of what this smells like. Yeah, this is opened up nicely, actually. It kind of smells like what I was hoping it would smell like in the first place. On the palate. Oh. Oh, ho, ho. Wow. I haven't had something improve this much with water since that one Fiji from last year. This is a lot better with water. I mean, it doesn't feel like a different malt by any means. It just feels like everything has just kind of like opened up like a beautiful blooming flower or something. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, it sweetens up and it feels like it blooms and just like, I don't know what the verb is, congeals maybe? Everything settles into place. Everything just hits its marks. Oh man, is that better than it was. So you got yourself like an imaginary blend of like the most hospitally medicinal maritime Lefroy you can get, blended with the most stinky barnyardy Ardmore you can get, and then you're going to pour like honey and oatmeal all over on top of that, and it works. And like some green herbs, some flowers. Oh, lots of peppery stuff. Some like coffee stuff on the finish. I feel bad for doubting this. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was thinking like, oh man, did I waste my money on this? Am I gonna have to score this lower than the 10-year-old was? And to some extent, I would still recommend the 10 first, just because like it's gonna be friendlier earlier on. But with water, this is just fantastic. It's still weird. Like, bear that in mind. This is a very weird peated malt. It just is. But it's good. It's very good, and it's way better with water. I mean, I'm going to give this like an 88, which is what I thought I would give it initially, but it's, before I taste it neat. But it's more like an 85 plus 3, because this jumped like a bunch of points just because I added water. So call this like an 88 with like a water droplet, because water is not optional with this one. You really, really need to give this a couple squirts of water, or teaspoons, or whatever the heck you use, strawfuls, whatever works. Give it some time, give it some water, and it will absolutely reward you. I would still recommend the 10 first, just because it's easier to wrap your brain around than this, whatever the heck this is. Well, what this is an 88-point whiskey, and that's the lineup. AnCnoc, what is this? Sherry finish, peated edition, whatever it is. 85 plus. A lot better than I thought it would be. But they can do better. You can tell, just tasting this, this can be better than what it is. So if you're watching this from AnCnoc, work on this. Start from this as a template, make it better. Meikle Tòir, kind of same story maybe. Like it needs more time to kind of develop further balance and further complexity, but you've got a good start here. Like it's a very fun peater with a lot of sherry on it. 85 points. And yeah, Ballantruan 15, 88, water droplet, because it really does not show you what it's got until you add water. And yeah, that's the lineup. Thanks for watching this very atypical set of reviews. Hope you're ready for first summer, and cheers.